Welcome back, everyone. It's our closing match of the day here on table number 2. Michael White against Stephen Maguire. Both players in desperate need of a win, White especially. And that wasn't a very auspicious start. A rogue red coming back up the table, leaving Maguire with a simple opener, which he spurns. I'm afraid with just a few exceptions, it's been that kind of day for Michael White. Just cannot get into anything like even second gear. Such a fine player, Maguire. At the moment, his chief priority is to remain in the World's Top 16 at the end of the China Open. If he does that, he will be seeded to the World Championship. Of course, if you finish 17th or below, what a difference. Instead of being automatically in the field for the sport's biggest event, you have to go to qualifying and you have to negotiate 3 best-of-19 frame matches.
Nice.
Well, that was almost a tremendous recovery pot. The yellow rattled and wriggled, but refused to drop. Not a very fruitful day for Michael White. Comes into this match having played 3, lost 3, and won only 3 frames. Nice shot that with check side. What White must tell himself is that on many occasions over the years in Championship League snooker, we've witnessed players who have lost their first 3 matches and fought back to qualify for the playoffs. Now he overran his position there. But he's got to still keep fighting because things do sometimes turn around when you least expect them. Floating the red in and obtaining a pretty useful angle on the blue. Well, not bad. The split was good. He could have been left an easier red, but at least he's got something. One of those tables where you cannot spy an awkward ball. Now, he did something there, White, which you shouldn't really do. He was playing below centre striking originally, then decided to play the follow-through shot. Now, that's perfectly fine. But technically, you're advised to get up on the shot when you change your mind like that and get back down and reset appropriately. Not that it's going to make any material difference to the frame now, you would think. With the disappearance of the penultimate red, Maguire needed a snooker. Now he needs 3. So a break of 56 from Michael White, winning the first frame very swiftly. He needs a lift. Maybe a win here would send him to bed a little happier than he has been of late. Michael White 1, Stephen Maguire 0. White will want to avoid what happened on their only previous meeting in the Championship League. It was in Group 3 in 2016. White made breaks of 74, 63 and 51 and lost. He was 2-0 up, eventually beaten 3-2. In terms of the head-to-head, Maguire leads 4-2 overall. And he's had two relatively high-profile victories over Michael White, both in quarterfinals of world ranking events. Firstly, in the 2013 Indian Open, he won 4-3 from 3-1 down. And then more recently, in the quarterfinals of the 2016 Shanghai Masters, Maguire winning that one 5-1. Well, picking up the thread from the previous frame. Another chance. And a promising one at that. He looks a little glum, doesn't he, Stephen Maguire? Of course, immediately before this, if you didn't see it, he was beaten 3-2 by Mark Davis. Davis making a 99 break in the decider. In fairness to White, they are not easy reds to pot, but he missed that by some way. He didn't just graze the near jaw, he caught a whole lot of it. And now, the Welshman could be made to pay. A source of more frustration for Maguire, dropping out of position. I think that's been his biggest problem over the years. I think he would be the first to agree. He sets himself very high standards. He's got tremendous talent and a tremendous game when he's playing at his best. But quite often, he's overwhelmed with feelings of frustration. And those feelings undermine his abilities. Well, that was a strange old shot. The red goes through the gap, though. The red at the bottom of the bunch. Well, at least he thought it went through there. Maybe there's a question mark. So he's had 2 good chances, White. And the frame is yet to be put under lock and key. Spent much of his formative snooker years, did Maguire, practicing with Stephen Hendry when Hendry was in his pomp. That was invaluable. And I remember all those years ago having a conversation with Hendry, who was absolutely full of praise for Maguire's snooker game. No longer the up-and-coming kid, of course. He's now very much the established professional. 21 seasons on the tour. 37 years old. His best year was 2004. He won a couple of world ranking events that year, the European Open in Malta and the UK Championship. Since then, 3 more world ranking titles have fallen his way. Northern Ireland Trophy 2007, China Open 2008, and Welsh Open in 2013. Played for the black there. And had to accept that when he potted the pink, he would be leaving a tricky last red. Tricky not just in terms of potting it, but in obtaining position, because he's going to kiss the black regardless. that's a job well done. £17 points the difference, so Maguire needs yellow, green and brown. The smooth, deliberate cue action. The pause on the backswing. And, in the end, a fine break of 74 as Stephen Maguire, in classy fashion, draws level at 1-1. Two frames also complete over on table 1 in the last match of the day there. And it looks as though the unbeaten record of Noppon Sankam is under threat. The ties won his first 3 matches of the day, but in his 4th, he trails Tom Ford 2-0. Well, that was the quintessential shot to nothing. Knew full well that by trying to pot that red, he would take the cue ball on its natural path back into bulk. And that was a clever shot. The intention was to take the cue ball close to the bottom cushion, which he did. The intention was to take the green into the reds and split them, which he partially did. The only problem, a red has come out adjacent to a pocket. White, though, is not in good shape. He's not in a good place with his game. That's the modern phrase, isn't it? You hear players say that all the time. I'm not in a good place, or I'm in a good place. White is struggling. And I'll tell you what, if Maguire can pot the black here, bear in mind the cue ball is very close to the side cushion, so it's tough. But if he can pot the black, he might be in a good place in frame 3. Nice pot. Another tester coming up.
Maguire 8.
Yes, when you're close to cushions with the cue ball, questions are asked. questions of technique and nerve. So a match so far with no discernible pattern, both making mistakes, both making one decent break.
Full. Five. $12. $13.
I mentioned before Stephen Maguire's couple
20.
of ranking event titles in 2004, then talked about his total of 5.
21.
Well, Michael White is a double ranking event winner. He won the Indian Open in 2015 and the Paul Hunter Classic in 2017. In fact, he's won
29.
3 televised tournaments because he also won the Shootout 4 years ago, although back then, of course, it wasn't a ranking event as it is now. I'm not quite sure he played it that way, but it's worked out okay.
36.
Better than okay.
37.
Pleased that the red,
44.
closest to the left-hand middle pocket, stopped in time for him to be able to pot it should he so desire. Of course, he's got the alternative red to a distant balk pocket. That's better for position.
45.
So White's second half century of the contest.
$53.
Well, not quite over the line yet.
57. Michael White, 57.
The toughest pot of the break was missed. 5 reds left. That means 67 points. Maguire trails by 48. Well, the safety's not too bad. The only negative there was that he put another red on a side cushion. And of course, when you're the player who's behind, you want to open the table. Oh, what a beautiful pot that was. The lead is now 55, and so this red with the rest down the side cushion is frame ball.
Eight. Fifteen. Yeah, cheers. Black or white, 15 on the front.
Maguire concedes. White regains the lead. He was 1-0 up. He was pegged back, but now he's back in front. Michael White 2, Stephen Maguire 1. Just looking ahead to tomorrow, which is the final day of the group. If White can get a positive result here, hope springs eternal for him, because he's got 2 matches left tomorrow. One against Tom Ford, the other against Mark Davis. If he could win those as well, like a phoenix from the ashes, it could be a case of sneaking into the semi-finals. Of course, in the first 6 groups every season with the Championship League, the top 4 players from the round-robin phase go into the semi-finals, and then the player who finishes 5th advances to the next group. This, of course, though, is Group 7. It's the last regular group, if you like, and so 5th place gives you diddly squat. Apart, of course, from the £100 per frame you pick up. In your 6 round robin matches. Right now, Noppon Sankam and especially John Higgins look to be heading for the semi-finals. Higgins in particular. What a performance he's put together. He's played 10 frames. He's won 9 of them. 2 3-0s and a 3-1. And he sits proudly at the top of the table. As for Maguire, well, he has 1 win from 3 matches, so if he could pull a victory out of the fire from 1 down with 2 to play, that would really help his semi-final chances. And as I said before, in their only previous meeting in the Championship League, Group 3, 2016, Maguire won 3-2 from 2-0 down. Right now, though, not striking the ball with any great authority. Good 74 clearance in the second frame. Apart from that, he's not looked good. White's been prone to the odd mistake. There's no denying that, but he has been better in this match than any of his previous 3 today. I've noticed, though, using the rest, he doesn't seem confident at all.
3.
Quite jabby.
Black or white, 3. Full. Five.
He knew he was making some kind of contact with the black.
Green
A
ball.
little thicker and that would have been okay. Just caught it too thin, sent it towards the top cushion,
Five.
and it became unavailable. Well, that was a country mile away. Overcutted grossly.
One. Three.
One thing about this table today, we've seen quite a few kicks at times. But I tell you what, when the players are screwing back, it's been reactive.
Four.
Maguire unlucky there, bringing the black off the side cushion, but only taking it into traffic, straight into the bunch.
Nine.
Nothing unlucky about that kiss, though. See what I mean there about the reaction when players are screwing back? We saw Ding play a beautiful screw back off a red down the side cushion earlier on. Basically, if you apply deep screw, backspin, it takes effect.
30.
Now there, Maguire's fiery temperament almost bubbling over. Felt like smashing the blue down the table into the pack. Just about restrained himself. And you see, it's just as well he did.
One. Six. Seven.
Oh dear. Approach with the caution. Wow. A frame absolutely crammed with mistakes already, and it's only 25-3 the score.
Cheers. Thank you. One. Five. Six. Brown ball.
Superb pot from Maguire.
10.
And on the lone red that's open.
Cheers, Stephen. Thank you.
It's one of those frames.
Michael's up this.
The question is now, can Michael White squeeze the cue ball past the green? Does he have the potting angle on the red? There's your answer.
Cheers, thanks. One.
Now a snooker behind green and pink. Could come in handy. As could this. Oh, what a valiant attempt that was.
6.
Playing with running side off 3 cushions. Going into the bunch, not at great pace, and that's why they've not really fanned out.
Michael White 6.
Well, surely now from what seems like his umpteenth chance, Maguire really should draw level.
One. Three. Four.
30 in front, Maguire in a low-scoring affair. Like that 37, and so this elementary red is frame ball.
11. 12. 19. Stephen Maguire 19 and the frame.
Needing 3 snookers, and in one, White concedes. So, 2-2 it is. And that means, on day 1 of Group 7, so far, that's the 4th match that's gone the distance. can tell you, action still going on
Deciding frame.
over on table number 1. Tom Ford was 2-0 up on Nopon Sankam on a break of 49. Almost over the line. Missed quite a simple black. Sankam cleared up with 83. So 2-1 Ford there. Still plenty of snooker to be played. As for here, just decided to be played. And the first chance falls to the player currently at the foot of the Group 7 table.
One. Give us that one. Thanks.
The pink spot is partially blocked by those reds, so with no other spots available,
8.
Rob Spencer had to put the pink closest to its own spot in a direct line with the black. And actually that makes going into the bunch, should he so desire, a little easier. Oh my, oh my. What happened there? He missed the reds by a mile because he missed the blue by a mile. That was terrible. White smiling, shaking his head. Even Maguire smiling. That was X-rated.
One.
Well, that was a beauty from Maguire. Little partial stun run through. Just floating it in, timing it well. But don't be confused here. This pink across the top rail is not easy.
Seven. Nine.
Well, 2 reds for the price of 1. He would have preferred 1 red and better position. OK, the brown's over the pocket, but getting down to his next red from there, that's a real task.
Brown ball.
If he hits this really hard, you could see the brown coming off the table. Well, he's played it off cushion first. Oh dear, and overcut it.
Stephen Maguire 9.
So both players have had chances in this deciding frame, neither in double figures yet, but I think White's going to get there sharpish.
One. 8. 9.
This has the feeling of a really tight group brewing up.
50. 60.
As it stands, both Stephen Maguire and Ding Junhui have 1 point. White with a gilt-edged opportunity here to notch up his first point of the day.
22. Yeah. 23.
Nicely done. Quite thin. At
29.
pace minimum.
30.
And the red down the rail was another good pot. Now then, he can attack the 3 just below the black.
36. 37.
Just from the previous shot, it told us the red just to the left of the black won't pot. But the right-hand red to middle will go. And of course that frees the other one.
44.
The break goes to 44. The lead is to 43. So now white
51.
50 in front, 51 on. Frame and match ball this. And again with the rest, he does not look at all convincing.
Michael White, 51.
Mind you, Stephen Maguire now needs 3 reds, 3 blacks and all the colours to win by a single point. Tall order. Now, though, the balls are looking a little more inviting for him. No colours or reds under cushions. White will have to mind his P's and Q's, be cautious here. Oh, that's a bonus. A good contact on the red, thin. And also promoting the green, or relegating the green even, closer to a cushion. Double kisses are never a good thing, although there he could have done a whole lot more damage.
One.
Now what does Maguire do here? Take the easy pink and then try and pot 2 reds, 2 blacks and all the colours to force a respotted black? Or does he go for the jugular? To win outright, has to pot a black. So this great escape is still on.
Stephen Maguire, 8.
I think I heard the word rubbish there. I think it was uttered by Maguire himself. I think there, White said, wow, he couldn't believe he'd missed the red by so much. Got down to play the shot very quickly, though. Seemed nervy.
One.
What a pot that was. Now then, Stephen Maguire, come on down. They are there for you. And you know, around this time tomorrow, if he's winning this group, we might look back on this frame. If he were to nick it by a single point. As you might remember,
6.
with a safety a while ago, White caressed the green a little closer to the ball cushion, but it's not close enough to make it difficult. And there's no positional problems getting on to the brown afterwards. Right now, White must be fearing the worst.
43 frame.
What a steal. Stephen Maguire snatches the decider by the narrowest possible margin, by a single point with a 43 clearance. Well, it wasn't much of a match in terms of standard, lots of mistakes, but in the end, a really exciting finish. And Stephen Maguire, with that, now has 2 wins from 4. He is back in the semi-final picture in Group 7 of Championship League. As for Michael White, well, he's played 4 matches today. He's drawn a blank. No victories whatsoever. For him, the semi-finals must seem like a million miles away. So we've still got action over on table number 1.